Friday, January 25th. Welcome back to the vlog. So did you watch Glee last night? And did you like the cover of Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back that aired during the episode? If you did, you should go over to jonathancoulton.com and buy the song there. Now to be clear, it won't be the Glee cast vocals that you'll hear, it will be Jonathan's, but you should still buy it from him. For one thing, because he's offering it cheaper than you can buy it on Amazon or iTunes. I think Jonathan's selling it for just $1, and I'm pretty sure iTunes and Amazon cost more than that. Also, when you buy it from Jonathan's website, you'll be giving money directly to Jonathan, the independent musician who is responsible for the arrangement and composition of the cover that you saw last night. Normally, having a Jonathan Coulton song in Glee would be phenomenal and wonderful news. We'd all be so excited about this. Unfortunately, the producers of Glee and the big head honcho guys at Fox, not only didn't they didn't pay him to use his music in the show, they didn't give him any credit for using his music in the show. And they didn't even ask him if they could use the music in the show. And to make matters worse, it turns out, according to independent analysis, that it's highly likely that the show actually stole Jonathan's backing tracks, and that the only thing that isn't his that you hear when you watch that part of the show are the vocals, because Gleecast vocals were dubbed in on top of his audio tracks. And this is problematic for a number of reasons. Not the least of which is, great big corporation taking advantage of the independent musician, or this perpetuation of the idea that if it's on the internet, it must be free. The big problem is that in a statement issued today, a week and a half after this episode became known to everybody, the statement issued by Fox was, "It's perfectly legal for us to do that, so we did it, and you should be glad for the exposure that you're getting because of it." I'm paraphrasing. I don't understand how, if he isn't being given any credit outside of his fan base screaming and yelling on the internet about this is actually giving him any extra exposure. I don't. I want to. I would like to know how it's possible that if they're taking the credit for the music, it's exposure for him. Because I don't understand how those two things work at the same time. They seem like they would be contradictory ideas, but they're being put out there as a legitimate thing by Fox. It also raises the issue of working for exposure to begin with. Now look, I've talked about this before. I talked about this when people got all mad at Amanda Palmer for asking people to volunteer for her. If you want to donate your time and your expertise and your talent to something, that's your prerogative. Go ahead if you want. Other people don't have to do that. I am not of the persuasion that if you do it, it cheapens things for everybody else, because other people can just say no. But if you want somebody to donate their time and their talent and their resources to you, you should probably ask them first. Stealing somebody's stuff and then saying you should be grateful that we stole your stuff because it's giving attention to you seems backwards to me. And it seems scary to me because, now I'm not a lawyer so I could be wrong, but it seems to me that because they're not giving him any credit so far, this could change in the future, but so far, because they're not giving him any credit, I think it opens the door for a lawsuit later should Jonathan choose to use his own music in his own way. For example, if he decides to perform his cover of Baby Got Back at a concert and Fox were to find out about it, I think this means that they could sue him. And while he can absolutely prove that he did this back in 2005. There's all sorts of supporting documentation and science, and the issue of whether or not he did it in 2005 is not debatable. What makes it scary is that Fox, being the giant corporation that they are, have the lawyers at their disposal who can afford to tie up an independent musician in litigation for eons. Whereas the independent musician might not have the legal resources to fight that battle the way that they are deciding it needs to be fought. That's scary to me. That makes me worry that he's going to stop releasing things under Creative Commons license. It makes me worry that maybe I should stop releasing things under Creative Commons licenses, and it makes me worry that maybe I should be charging a subscription to this and to my blog, because apparently the only thing that a corporation will respect is dollars, and they think everything on the internet's for free. And it's a lot. It's a lot to think about and a lot to talk about. But primarily what I want to do is take all of the righteous indignation and irritation and anger over what is being done to somebody that I have tremendous respect for, and roll that into something positive. Because it just seems like the right thing to do. So, because I cannot go back in time and demand that his name be put on credits now that they've already rolled, because I can't go back and have them pull that number out of the show or anything, because I wish I had that capability, but I don't. Instead, I will simply say that if you liked what you heard, go to jonathancoulton.com and buy it there, because that shows support for the artist who created it in the first place, and that helps him, potentially pad his legal fund should he need it later on. So there. I have no real eloquent way of wrapping this up, because frankly, this whole thing raises more questions for me than it does give me opinions or answers to things. But if you have thoughts on this, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I would love to hear what your take on this is. But please, if I could, and I guess I can't because it's my comment section, can we refrain from name-calling and the use of really heinous language? Because if we really want to make a difference in this particular fight, some decorum and a little bit of eloquence is probably the better way to go, I think. So there's that. I will be back later this weekend because I have a twice-a-week vlogging commitment, and now I'm at 7 minutes, so I really, for the sake of my voice and battery power, should go. So thank you for watching this whole way. Please feel free to have a discussion about everything in the comments, and I will be back before the end of the weekend with something else to talk about. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.